Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. In 2008, Vacheron Constantin launched a watch that would come to define the brand. Based on two watches made in 1919 and 1921, they launched the Historiques American 1921. Part of the historic collection of revised references, this became the long, elusive, defining shape for Vacheron, a company known for exquisite constructions, but not necessarily possessed of a long-term design icon. I think it's safe to say that with this model range, Vacheron finally found its champion. And this is a white gold model that debuted in 2021 as Vacheron continues to evolve the breed. It's an easy watch to wear, 40 millimeters in diameter in white gold. It's only 8.2 millimeters thick. And if you measure lug to lug, it is 45.9 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. I encourage you, for fit purposes, to just ignore the lugs and read the case. The case wears square on the wrist. So on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference, you can see super flat, easy to fit underneath the cuff, and even over the top, which exaggerates the width of a watch and pulling the strap down tight. You could see the edges of the case are nowhere near the edge of my wrist, and the down the barrel angle is the definitive one. There is a 36.5 millimeter version of this watch. I cannot imagine that any but the most petite forearms would require that. This could wear on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. Of course, it is dress cuff compatible, equipped with a beautiful gradient shaded brown strap and calfskin. You can see it has a sheer cut edge that has been lacquered for refinement with a monotone stitch, a little bit of bolstering to add some volume, calfskin on the bottom, and this is a lovely Serapian Milano for Vacheron strap. So officially official. And then it's matched with a white gold Maltese cross style buckle, and that Maltese cross, you'll find it all over this watch. It is the logo of the brand. Now the case is a monoblock, which means that the mid case and the bezel are all one piece, so there's no seam to break up the expanse of the top case. It's all one piece. Everything, dial and movement, loads through the case back. You can see we have the off-centered crown. There is a long-running rumor, urban legend, whatever you want to call it, this was the original driver's watch. The idea being with your hand on the steering wheel, you could easily read this watch erect and properly oriented as you were piloting your motor car. And who knows? I like a good folktale, and as far as this watch is concerned, that one's almost quasi-canonical. Even if it was made up, it's now so closely associated with this watch that people consider it to be a driver's style watch. In terms of construction, you can see that Vacheron is going with, this looks like gray gold. It's a little bit warmer than rhodium-plated white gold, so this is the good stuff. It's what Richemont Group companies mostly use, with the possible exception of Piaget. But it's white all the way through. It doesn't need to be plated. The lugs feature welded construction. They've been welded to the case with all of the gathered material from the weld removed by a file to create a super sharp break. That's how the historic watch case would have been made, and that's how this one's made. You can't do this in mass production. This is slow-going, artisanal, and very old school, but it's lovely to see on a watch like this. The dial features a pre-Art Deco font. Now remember, 1921 was 4 years before the Exposition des Arts Décoratifs in France, which was the sort of semi-official birth of what would come to be known as Art Deco. These numerals are more Art Nouveau, a style I actually prefer. You could see that we have modified Breguet-style black and gold hands and a black and gold Lancet-style seconds hand. The dial has a railroad track outboard for reading minutes, an applied white gold logo, and then this lovely granular texture with a sunken sub-register that features its own little railroad track, radially arrayed Arabic numerals, and then you can see it's countersunk with a little concentric pattern internally. My only objection here is that the font used for the subdial is different from the font used for the dial, but then again, Vacheron's drawing from history, and that may be true to history. On the reverse side, a modern movement and Vacheron's own. You can see this is caliber 4400/1, manual wind. It has one large barrel for a above average 65-hour power reserve. It's got a 4 Hz beat rate, a very traditional architecture where we have a ratchet wheel, On top of the barrel, we have a crown wheel adjacent to the crown, a center wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel, escape wheel, and then a balance. And it's 21 pivot jewels. It is adjusted in 5 positions, which is what you're going to find on chronometers and most high horology watches like Vacheron and Lange, for example. Geneva seal is on the movement, but you'll note Geneva seal is also on the case, as since 2012, it's been a standard that applies to the full watch, not just the finish of the movement. 30 meters water resistant. You can actually see the finish of the movement is quite good. They're not pulling their punches at Vacheron. So we get these lovely stripes that are deep and darkly shaded. There's a lovely snailing on the barrel cap, which you can see that sort of solarization with a spiral curve. The bevels are well done. You can see these are truly mirrored. Even if they were started mechanically, they appear to have been finished by manual means, maybe with a buffer drill tip. And then you can see that there's several interior angles where bevels meet. That can't be done with a buffer tool. That has to be done by hand to create that sharp inward crease. You could see them again on either side of the pivot jewel for the escape wheel. They're black polished screw heads, and you can see they're called black polished because from any angle but the one reflective angle, they turn black. You can also see that all the jewel and the screw sinks have been internally beveled. We've got a black polished stud holder and cap to the regulator. We have off-centered solarization of the crown wheel core, which I really like, satination on the wheels, and then engine turning on the base plate, and little pegs like these that are used to locate bridges on the base plate. Those have also been polished on their top, so no stone left unturned. This is the icon of Vacheron. Many have been made, rose, of course, platinum, white gold, different dial styles, different printing colors, but this to me feels as close as you could get to a core 1921. This is the Vacheron if you're looking for an icon ready to go toe-to-toe with the Royal Oaks and Calatravas of the world. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.